guys, Andrew McFarland here from StartAJuiceBar.com. I want to talk about the delusions in starting small. Now this video, I hope it doesn't discourage any of you guys, but it should be a pill of sobriety just to give you some insights into the pros and cons of starting a small scale juice business. And when I say that, I mean, whether you're delivering juices at farmers markets or you're making juices from your home or commercial kitchen and selling it to friends or people in the local area, what you want to expect when you actually start doing this. The reason I've been inspired to make this video is because I have a lot of conversations with people, as I'm sure you guys imagine, and there's certain things that come up over and over again. And one of the things is that I hear is, I'm just going to start small and then I'm going to grow my business from there. Now, while that is possible, there are pitfalls and there's challenges and there's some things that people don't understand about approaching your business this way. The first thing that I want to mention as a principle is that when you get into food service or you get into the juice industry, you are in the high volume, low margin business, which means that you have to sell a lot of units before you start making significant income, because your profit is only going to be a few dollars, give or take, off of each product sold. And so the big delusion that I find is that people believe that they're going to start small and then make enough money to open up a store eventually, right? I talked to a prospective client the other day and they thought, after we were having this conversation, yeah, I'm going to start small and then we're going to save up for a year, we're going to make a ton of money, and then we're going to invest $150,000 opening up a storefront. And I just was like, it doesn't work that way, because you have to break through certain thresholds in order to make a certain amount of money, which means in order for you to make $150,000 a year net, you have to be at a certain volume, which at that point, you're not running a small scale juice business, right? You're running a larger scale juice business. And so if you're thinking about, oh, I'm going to sell from 30 to 50 juices a day or smoothies, whatever the product is, you will usually almost never make enough money to really, really significantly grow your business. You'll have to at some point still go and speak to investors in banks and raise the money that you need for your business, right? So there are benefits to starting small, but I don't want you to think that making money is one of them. What's the benefit of starting small? Primarily two things. One, you are going to get some experience, right? You're not going to get all the experience you need because there are still limitations in your knowledge. Until you have a staff, you don't know what it's like to manage a staff, and at some point you're going to have to do that anyway. But you will gain some experience on how to run a juice production, how to keep track of things, and that's valuable. You will, probably the other biggest thing is brand awareness. You will have people who get exposed to your product that are passionate about it, and these could be your future investors. And so if you don't have access to these people right up front, great, no problem. Maybe that's the reason that you go that route. But I don't want you guys to be under any illusions or delusions about what it means to start small, because there are a lot of limitations. What's another one of the traps of starting small is when you're the only person, you, maybe one other person or two people making the product, people believe that when you start small, it's actually easier, right? But the paradox is in many ways, it's actually harder because you don't have people that you can't afford to delegate because your business isn't making enough money for you to employ people, right? So that's one of the downsides. The other downside is that you become so busy sometimes that when it comes to actually growing the business, you don't have the bandwidth. So if you're just in this loop where you're trying to maintain selling 50 juices a day, but that's only paying for you to keep making 50 juices a day, but it doesn't give you enough money because, once again, high volume, low margin, you don't make enough money to then invest in growing the business in other dimensions, right? What happens is you get stuck. You don't have time to actually go raise money from investors, or you don't have time to actually go and scout for a new location or hire other people. You get stuck in this loop. And so I've seen it, I've been in it, I know what it's like, I've seen other people get stuck in it, and you could be doing that for years before you realize, oh, actually I still got to raise money from investors in the bank. And so The reason that most of the time people want to start small is because they think that it's going to mitigate their risk. It's going to be lower risk. And in some ways that is true, but in some ways it's not true. It's true on the level of, hey, if your business doesn't go well, maybe you only invested $10, $20, $30,000 in getting it started. But the reason that your business might not go well is because you only invested 10, 20, 30,000 in getting it started. So that's the paradox, right? Because you can't actually say that what you're doing is a true representation of what it would be like to have a store. Customers just invest more money in stores. I've seen it. This is the psychology that human beings have. And so sometimes when you go bigger instead of starting small, it actually lessens your risk, even though you might have more financial risk, but the chances of your success actually might increase. So I just wanted to shift your mind state and your perspective on all of these things. There are benefits, but I don't want you to be under any illusions that you're going to start a small scale juice business. You're going to make enough money to then open up a store a year later. It could take you 3 to 5 years. It could take you even longer, depending on what your approach is. The last thing I'll say is that 99% of businesses that you see out there that are substantial businesses, food chains, 99% of them were started from investment capital, right? 99% of them. There's a reason why, because it's acceleration and it's time. If you wait 3 to 5 years to save up enough money to open a storefront, I guarantee you, if your market is actually ripe, there's going to be someone else who's going to come in and open a store before you do. So don't just think small because you're scared and you want to mitigate your risk. Think smart. Think about what's the best business approach. I'm not saying don't start at farmers markets and deliver and do that stuff, but know why you're doing it, know why you're getting into it, and don't be under any illusions that it's going to help you get rich so you can expand your business exponentially. It won't. Just do the math. Figure out what your profit margins are if you only sell 50 a day or 100 a day. When you start to get to that threshold where you start doing more than 50 and you get toward 100, 200, 300, you need more staff, you need more infrastructure, you got to invest in more equipment, you got to expand your space. There's all kinds of things that come up. Also, the last thing that I'll say, I said it was the last thing before, but this is actually the last thing. You have, in order to gain the benefit of purchasing products wholesale, which is what's going to make you have profit margin, there are minimums, right? Meaning that apples usually only come in a 40-pound case, which means that you have to have enough customers to justify that 40-pound case if you bought, otherwise your produce starts to go bad. That's why the small scale thing is hard, because you still have to break through a threshold. Otherwise what happens is you guys out there might end up purchasing your products retail. And guaranteed if you're doing that, you're probably going to be losing money. So there are minimums of volume that you have to get to in order for it to be worth it. High volume, low margin. The way that you make money in this business is through increasing your volume. So you have to think about that as a circumstance when you're approaching your business. It's okay for brand awareness. It's okay for getting a little bit of experience, but small scale juice businesses are not going to make you money to really open up a store and expand your business substantially. So I hope this helps at least shift your mind and how you're thinking about approaching your business and deciding if you want to do it or not. It's not saying don't do it, but just know why you're doing it. So if you like the video, press the like button. If you want to comment in the comment box below. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, I invite you to subscribe. This is Andrew McFarland with StartAJuiceBar.com. Wishing you guys a lot of success, and I'll see you guys at the next video. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at StartAJuiceBar, because we're newly on there and more active, and we put out a lot of great content as well. So see you on Instagram, see you here, see you soon.